Alexa, turn on the TV.
You might know as a player, feel as a player going into a big game like this. So we try to convey that. Hey
YouTube, what's going on? Gonna throw out a video today. Wanted to actually, I mentioned in the last video that I had an announcement that I am gonna make today. So I'm just gonna kind of get things going, take some footage. Oh, look, and Stella's actually in the tub. She always does this after someone takes a shower or something, looking for water. Good day in Boston today. Tom Brady in the playoffs. Let's see how he does. Woo! Go Pats. So I've realized one thing by watching a lot of YouTube videos, one thing that it can either make me or break me while I'm making my stuff is my ability to actually multitask, because usually I know a lot of my video right now is like boom, 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 a bunch of things, but then I just stop and then talk a little bit, and then it's boom, 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 a little more content, not enough talking straight up to basically my audience and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do a little bit more of that in the future. So the footage I have actually that I want to show you guys today, and it'll make up, basically what kind of my purpose for this video is stuff I've recorded a couple of days ago, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm trying to do better at talking on camera, talking straight to you, versus, the other day I was trying to write down all my thoughts and then read off the paper and stuff like that. So some of the video I'm not really happy with, but I like the content, so I'm gonna kind of go through it. Maybe I'll re-record some of the stuff, but we'll see. Watched a ton of YouTube stuff last night, just trying to get ideas and just seeing how other people do things, which is awesome. Obviously, I end up watching hours of Casey Neistat, and now I think I might actually buy a Mavic Pro drone, but that's a whole nother story. I ended up watching hours and hours on that stuff. Quick update on the garage stuff. I got a couple of things to show you. I'll actually show you. I got a box from Amazon, and I got a few other things that I just got from, I want to say Detail Image, for the detailing stuff. So I got a little project going on. I was actually hoping to get more involved in it this weekend. Really didn't happen. Did a lot of other things, stuff like that. You know how it goes. But anyway, why don't I make this coffee, because that's the most important part of the day to get me going. And we'll show you these things right here. The package I got just the other day from Amazon, from it's Chemical Guys stuff, and basically what it is a sample of all. Now what I did is I'm going to use 5.5-inch pads, but these are all buffing pads for light finishing, light cutting, medium cutting, and all that stuff to use on the polisher that I got during Christmas, so that I could start actually doing, as far as the flips go, grabbing a car that needs a little bit of polish, throwing a quick polish on it, taking maybe some oxidation off of it and stuff like that, so that I could flip it for a little bit more money. Just one of the ways I'm kind of gonna go at it. So chemical guys, these pads came so highly recommended. They're the Hex Logic pads. You know, so I went with those, and then this sample pack came with basically 7 different pads, all the different grades, and some chemical guys cleaner. So I actually got some other cleaner from the Detail Image guys as well, but I'll show you that in a little bit when we go out in the garage. Maybe I'll check that. We'll check that out before I kind of show you the other footage that I have from the other day. Coffee. Makes everything better. Let's get the day started. Let's get a little help. Alexa, turn on the audio receiver. Alexa, open Pandora.
Getting the last Pandora station you listened to. I love it radio.
Quick little chore this morning, but no one wants to see that, so without further ado, sweet. Now that that's over, let's get on to bigger and better things. Maybe I'll go out in the garage and show you guys around a little bit. This was what I was supposed to be doing yesterday, but I ended up hanging out with my niece, who that was actually much better than working. Had a great day with her. We went to see the movie Monster Trucks, and it was just a cool day just to hang out. The one thing I always try to do whenever I'm around the kids, my nieces and nephews, who I love a ton, is try to inspire them in at least some little way, and let them know no one can stop you from doing anything. You can make your dreams your reality. Someone's chilling. Yeah. Stella's just happy that it's a Sunday and that we're not going to work, so she actually has someone to hang out with. Woohoo! Before we get on to the little secret that I want to let out is, why don't I take you into the garage and just give you a little quick update. There's not really that much to show you because it's been cold and I've been lazy. Not much has really gotten done, but anyway, let's check it out. And in here right now, I'm a little crowded because it's winter time. But what I've got is, of course, the vet packed up. We'll get the snowblower all ready to go because it's winter here in New England. Only had to use it once. Quick snow came, 14 inches here, 20 minutes south of Boston. And then, but a few days later, this stuff was gone. And now we're back in the 40s. So very happy with how we are at. Let's check out the temps in the garage. The headers are still sitting there because my plans were to really kind of test the vehicle before I got put on it, but now I'm starting to go away from that. Now I'm starting to think I'm going to throw them on there without that baseline dyno and all that stuff, but we'll see. But anyway, 45 in the garage, so that's pretty cool. We bought some Duplicolor paints because that's one of our projects right now is going to be kind of finishing to restore. So, you know, semi-restore, not a real restoration, but for this 2003 Cadillac DeVille, that's got a lot of oxidation on the paint. That's actually already using rubbing compound about 2 or 3 times. I haven't done anything to the roof there, but you can see how kind of dull that is. And then I've done about 3 coats of regular compound on the trunk as well. But it's got a little bit of rot here and there, and then the wheels need to be cleaned up. So the Duplicolor is you know, basically a base silver and then a matte clear finish that I'm just going to do on each of the wheels that I've done on other cars in the past, and it's kind of worked out. Gives them, you know, pretty new look to them and gets rid of some of that old brake dust that ate off the clear coat and all that stuff. Gives it a clean look. And then I'll probably buff out the taillights. I should say the headlights and then the tail lights. Lighting, exterior lighting always gives a car a lot better appearance. You know, this car is really just an A to B car. It really isn't worth that much in today's market. Or I shouldn't say there's not much of a difference in the worth as far as the condition goes, you know, because it's really an A to B car. And there's not a ton of them, you know, people aren't really seeking them out or anything like that, you know, but it'll be a great daily driver. I've gone through it and got rid of all the little, the things that have been making the engine light go off and stuff like that. Test shot. Okay, now for the real thing. Basically, I got to kind of do that because I'm not sure. I haven't used the camera and everything like that, so I don't know when I place it, you know, because I don't have a view of actually what's being filmed at that moment, you know, like a camera with one of those little flip over LCD screens that shows you what's going on and everything like that. But so I got to see if I'm actually in the picture. But anyway, see how green I am while I'm paying bills and doing whatever and all this, going through all this junk mail that you get every day. What I'm also doing is I got a little fire going here, and we just get rid of all that unwanted stuff and heat the house with it. So hopefully we buy a little less oil. Thank you. Hey YouTube, what's going on? I've been kind of putting off making this video for a little bit because I wanted to try something new with my whole channel thing, and kind of talk to you guys one-on-one like I've seen some of the vloggers that I know do. Street Speed 717 does it from the car, does it from in his house, sometimes in his garage. Casey Neistat speaks right to you most of the time in different locations and everything like that. So I kind of wanted to give this a shot. I'm going to shoot from the hip. I kind of jotted down some stuff that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of thought of something really cool, something that happened to me Thursday that, yeah, actually definitely changed my life forever. And it brought me to kind of look up a term and see if it kind of fell into what I felt had happened to me on Thursday, and I do think that it did. And the word for it and what I had thought about is surreal. I experienced what I felt like was a surreal moment on Thursday, and it changed my life forever. And the feeling that it gave me was pretty awesome. So I figured I'd jot down some things, you know, that I could talk about and just kind of shoot from the hip. But anyway, I ended up looking up the word surreal on Webster's dictionary. And it came up with very strange or unusual, having the quality of a dream. Let me tell you about some of those kind of moments. A lot of them actually have to do with my military days. As I started writing, I kind of realized that. But anyway, the first one was the first time I ever parachuted out of a C-130. When I was in the military, I went in back in 1993, right after high school, and I was sent to jump school down at Fort Benning, Georgia, and you jump out of a C-130. I was probably about 20 years old. It was probably about 1995. And all I can tell you was walking out of that plane and then floating down. Now, we did static. So you actually free fell for about 4 seconds, and then you floated down on with a parachute. That took a good 30 seconds to probably a minute before you met the ground. You know, basically that was from 1,200 feet. So all I can say is the feeling of floating down in a parachute at that high of an altitude, and the time, and it's almost like time stopped, And I can't even imagine the thoughts that went through my mind, what I was thinking about. But for those moments that seems to take so long, like it felt like probably 15 minutes to me, but the feeling I had of an almost euphoric feeling, and the thoughts that went through my head were pretty cool. And I just remember to this day, that is one of the greatest feelings I've ever felt in my entire life. And what happened to me Thursday is pretty much felt about the same. But I'll get to that one. The second time, and this one is almost like surreal combined with like an extreme moment of pride, I guess I would call it. But it was happened again while I was in the military, and I actually felt this while I was running in formation during a typical run that we did just about every day for about 3 years. And again, I was enlisted from '93 to '96, and then after that, I went in the National Guard. But anyway, now don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely not tooting my own horn, because I've not had to do what so many soldiers have done in recent years in the wars that this country has fought in. Basically, I stayed stateside, and I was down in Arlington, Virginia. I hope that those guys experience what I felt that day every single day of their lives, because they deserve it for what they've gone through. I just felt an extreme moment of pride for how hard I had pushed myself at that point, or up to that point, to get to where I was at that moment in my life. It just really, it kind of struck me, and emotion came over to me one time, basically when I was running, and I was thinking about it, and the way it made me feel was just awesome. Now, on to what happened on Thursday. And if you've been looking around this room at all, there's actually a hint as to what actually happened. You'll know in about 2 seconds anyways. But my wife and I went to her 9-week ultrasound. This right there kind of gives it away. But in this one, there's a possibility, and they're going to look for the baby's heartbeat. Up until speaking with one of Ann's girlfriends, Gretch, how you doing, who just recently gave birth to her second child, we didn't really consider it a big a deal if I went. She said that I absolutely should, and pretty much from that moment, I figured, yeah, definitely, I want to be part of this. And at work, it kind of worked out with the job that I was actually on. I was able to take the morning, go to the appointment, and then come into work just a little bit later. So I took the morning off work. We both met at the doctor's office. Ann was called into the room where the nurse would perform the ultrasound. I followed her, having thoughts that regarding whether I should or shouldn't be there or following, but the nurse pointed me to a seat, so all was good. The nurse started, after watching her move the wand and take stills of the monitor and freeze and unfreeze, and then use this tool to basically take measurements on the screen. Basically, it was Microsoft Office for babies. So while she was doing that, and I knew that Ann was feeling the same thing, I began to wonder whether we would see the heartbeat or not. I didn't want to be a pain, because I usually am when it comes to things at the doctor's office, like asking questions and stuff like that. So I waited patiently until Ann asked. I knew that she would. And she asked the nurse whether we would get to hear the baby's heartbeat, or at least I think know whether she saw the heartbeat. The nurse responded in a professional manner, because we all know sometimes the results on this situation are not always the same. Just when I started to think, oh well, I guess we're not gonna hear the heartbeat, but thinking maybe we'd find out later on from the doctor based on the nurse's response. The nurse pans the monitor over more into our line of sight, and then at that moment she unfroze the screen. She pointed to a spot right below the baby, and I actually have the picture on my desktop, and she basically pointed right there, unfroze the screen, and all of a sudden you could see the little heartbeat, and then that's exactly what she said. She goes, "There's your baby's heartbeat." Now let me tell you, the emotion that I felt, it was just awesome. You know, I probably, at that moment, obviously, my life just changed forever because the pregnancy also became a reality. So cool. I just want to close out and say that I know it's early and things can happen. Many of our friends have gotten here and a lot further, followed by an undesirable result. Most have turned into eventual success, though. I just felt this would be something cool to share. You know, to me, it's a great feeling, and you don't get to do it every single day. And I just wanted to say thanks for checking this out.